Great. It's Saturday, June 7th. I'm here with my friend Julien Gadir. Very excited because Julien, we've been trying to book this conversation for some time now. So Julien Gadir is the CEO of a company called SalesMind. Amazing background. He's French, but studied and worked in China, and now he is having his fast-growing business out of Thailand. So, welcome, Julian. Work Optional Mastermind is really about learning and interviewing folks such as yourself that are building AI applications that are going to transform the future of work. So today, if it's okay with you, love to find out more about your amazing background. Want to pick your brains about how you see AI is transforming business and work, sort of where the trends are going. Then certainly have you tell us what SalesMind's doing. I know that you're getting amazing traction. My understanding is your sales tool has sent some 3 million messages on LinkedIn, and your response rate for your clients is more than double the traditional 20%, is what I'm learning. So I'd love to learn more about that. How does that sound? We'll cover those three topics.
That sounds amazing. Really excited
Great,
to get
great.
started.
Okay, so we're both in Bangkok, but you're French and you study in China. Tell us more about Julien.
Yes, sure. So Julien always wanted to travel, basically. So the university offered me a possibility to study in China, and I know that that country is really fast growing. They have rapid innovation, and they are leading the innovation. So doing computer science as study was like going to China to study this field was actually a very wise choice. Looking back now. So I've been studying in China for several years, and my background in France lies on emphasis on ethics, data protection, regulation, compliance, and everything. You know, the Europeans they like to put law before we find use cases. So the blend of both of them is actually look like Thailand to me. So I landed in Thailand
Ah,
2 or 3 years ago. And then this is where I identified the opportunity that led me to build Salesman actually. But I guess we're gonna get into that.
where did you study in China and how many years? And was it a master's degree in comp sci?
Yes, it was a master. I say I did my third and fourth and fifth year back in China. It was in Tianjin, Beijing, and I finished my time in China in 2020, right before COVID actually, and I was in Shanghai.
Wow. Wow. And was it in Chinese or is it an English program?
No, it was in English, but I do learn Chinese.
你会讲国语, 对吧?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, impressive. Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Did you launch SalesMind immediately or did you do something else? And how did you start SalesMind? Again, then tell us about SalesMind. Yeah.
So no, I haven't launched SalesMind right after my study. Basically, I've worked in several companies before, big corporate, and always as a project or product manager. My skills and passion lies in product themselves. So I've been building products for businesses for the last 5 years before I started SalesMind, basically. And then at some point, it led me to identify a gap and a problem in the sales software industry where the sales rep do still a lot of things that is manual and where the automation were promising scale, it just bring actually spam. So we identified that the AI would actually be much more effective in some part of the sales funnel and in the lead generation sphere, basically, where it will be the easiest part to leverage the
Mm.
capacity of AI. So this is where we started. We identify one specific use case where people need to reply all their messages, and at some point we added more features that people wanted, right? You have to listen to the customer and just build the product they want. So we started this way, and we keep iterating and improving the product on a weekly basis.
And so what was the exact problem or case study that sort of triggered you to start this company?
I think the trigger was really strong. We were at some point I was project manager for a marketing agency. I faced the same problem over and over and over again with the client. They were not able to handle the number of leads we were sending them. So at some point, we found a strategy that were generating thousands of leads per month for them. Obviously, not all of them were like extremely excited, but they needed to move in the funnel of conversion. And that time, it was a sport equipment manufacturer, the client that we had, and we get him in touch 3 times with the Olympic organizer in Paris. So it was a client in France, and we get him in touch with the organizer of the Olympic game in the same year. And they were all super excited about the opportunities that our client brought to them. But our client just never replied. So it means that golden opportunity to actually do something meaningful with the Olympics game. So we
Gotcha.
identified that if the AI was able to identify which conversation need immediate attention and draft a reply or even reply itself to make the lead move forward and just offer simply either the resources that the person is asking, either the meeting link for people to book, either just a simple reply to make the people understand better, it will be extremely easy for the AI to do this part, and that's what the use case we identified. So we started with
Gotcha.
just an agent that was replying to the message, and then we add the qualification and the real time and the first connection and so on.
You mentioned, so you were working with an agency and through their marketing or lead gen, they were getting leads, but the humans were not responding fast enough or just didn't have the time. And so that was the problem you were solving, is to specifically build an agent to capture these leads. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes, correct. The time you spend between the time the lead is replying and the time you have to reply, it cannot be days. It have to be
Sure. It
minutes.
needs to be instant. It needs instant. Okay. So the agency was being paid by the clients to do marketing, to do socials, getting the leads, but not capturing enough. So can you talk about the product and then sort of how that carried into LinkedIn and why LinkedIn?
So when we were providing the go-to-market strategy, we tested all the channel for B2B, B2C, and so on. And
Hmm.
what we saw that has the most success is LinkedIn, because they have been able to build a very comprehensive acquisition funnel. So we automated the outbound because it was the easiest way to scale how many people you can get in touch with. Now LinkedIn is like, we automate one part of the acquisition on LinkedIn, which is the outbound. Now, if you create content, if you engage with the content of your prospect, if you invite them to like podcast like this one, and if you like basically do social warming, you are able to really skyrocket the number of leads that LinkedIn generates for you, because you use it as a very comprehensive funnel: inbound, outbound, organic, and paid. We never did paid any time, but because the organic is strong enough there.
I know you've got many clients. I'm not sure if you're at liberty to disclose how many, but I know you're growing fast, Julien. Maybe describe the typical client. Is it direct to client to the brand, or are you working through intermediaries or agencies for SalesMind?
Yes. So I think initially we built the product for agencies, lead generation agency, B2B marketing agency, because that's what we were and the problem we identified we wanted to solve. But at some point, for the first year, we understood that it was way too early for a product like SalesMind to actually fulfill all the requirements of the lead generation agency. So we started to target end business users, so small
Okay.
businesses, founders, small sales team leaders as well. So 5, 10, 15 people. And that was working really well because we automate most of the part in the lead generation, the capture, and the qualification. So that was freeing up a lot of their time. They were even replacing the VAs they were hiring in the Philippines and so on, because they were able to manage all the outreach by themselves, because the AI was making that so much easier for them.
I know you're using SalesMind to prospect your own clients within LinkedIn. I love that. So, what's working? Is there certain vertical, certain client size, or what's the most popular use case, if you will?
I would say we are not, we're kind of industry agnostic. We can serve most of the industry. LinkedIn have 1 billion users so far. So if you want to reach someone in certain industry, the chance that this person is on LinkedIn and active on LinkedIn is really high. Now, what we see is there is certain industry we cannot target, like the manufacturing, agriculture, nurses, hospitality.
Yeah. Yeah.
All those industry are not really active on LinkedIn, so it will be very challenging to scale. So the best use case we're seeing is with the SaaS. We, we have been proving it with SalesMind. We use SalesMind and that generates 60-70% of the leads that we're generating come from SalesMind
I
itself.
love that. I love that.
I was talking with someone with a VC this week, and he told me, "Why don't you eat your own dog food?" And I told him that exactly what we are doing, right? Because SalesMind is generating the lead for SalesMind itself. So at some point, we were able to send so much traffic into the application itself. What was funny is at some point we were seeing people, we were messaging them, we were getting in touch with them. They were not replying, but they were complaining in the support for something because they were signing up into the application, even though they didn't reply to the engagement we are creating. So the SaaS worked really well. IT services consulting works really well. Cybersecurity works really well. Financial services works really well. And that the primary type of client that we had. Now we are leaning a little bit more toward the agency that have larger accounts, stick a little bit more longer engagement and so on. So this is the market that now we're tackling the agency for that is
Gotcha.
serving the
Gotcha.
people.
Okay. Can you give examples of, I mean, you don't have to give names of clients in those two verticals that are actually using SalesMind, and what are they actually doing?
We have a client called Zebra in France. He's happy to share the case study with us. He have been satisfied with the product. Really early adopters, so he faced a lot of challenges that we let him face. But basically, what he's doing is helping company to drive change. So it's a change management software. He helped to organize all the change in the company, and basically we generate a lot of meeting for him because he have a free sign up page. So we just send constant flow of lead into his page, and people sign up, and then after we do not have so much effort after the people sign up, right? We stop more or less there for the SaaS, and it's only to the product to see how much the conversion rate of the product is, and then that's how we calculate the ROI. Now for the IT services consulting, cybersecurity, people are offering like services, development, market development, design, and so on. And that what works really well because those service companies, they need a regular flow of client, they need a predictable pipeline, and that's what we're providing them. We're able to understand what was the success we had before and improve the machine to ensure that we understand what are the next batch of leads that we are bringing.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, every business, every entrepreneur, every investor needs to build brand and sales. So maybe I'll toss out a few. So on Work Optional, I've got a partner. His name is Michael Block, and we are looking to acquire property management companies in the USA, right? So specifically PMCs that manage multifamily apartments, and there's 326,000 of them in America. And so we want to reach a certain criteria, maybe 10,000 of them. Okay. If they have a certain financial standing, whatnot. Now, some of these can be found in LinkedIn, some cannot. But if we were to then engage SalesMind to help us uh, identify the targets and then prospect the targets, that's something that you can do within LinkedIn, right? Can you walk me through the process of onboarding this project if we were to use SalesMind for that?
Yeah, sure. So I will start by asking a quick question. Do you have that list of 10,000 people that you want to reach, or you want us to find that for you?
We have 2,000 on a CRM system. Um, and then we can use services like Apollo, right? Apollo.io to get them, or we buy lists from property management associations, obviously each of these have certain quality of prospect and certain cost involved with that. So ideally, we would give you the criteria, right? We want a certain size, or whatever it is, a certain region. You would find it for us, and then I would imagine this will be some kind of training of SalesMind as agent, and then you would prospect, right? Like, so again, walk me through, this is a problem we need to solve. I would prefer to automate it versus having our analyst call, which is difficult, or email. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So that actually works. If you have past data of the profile that you're targeting, that's even better. So we can rely on those profiles to make a lookalike audience. But basically, we will take your criteria. We have the agent that is filtering the lead based on
Hmm.
36 criteria. So job title, industry, skills, gender, and BTI. I mean, a very comprehensive set of criteria to assess if the person is the right fit for you or not. And then basically we will train the AI for it to actually remain compliant with your brand value guideline and tone of voice. So basically, reading your website, reading your inbox help us to do that. We will ask you to validate, and I think that what the AI has brought in the last few years, it moved human from doer to validator. And then basically we'll ask you to validate what the AI understood out of your business, your audience, and the people that it gathered for you. And then the engagement will start rolling automatically. So we'll start engaging
Okay.
up to 200, 300 activities per day and let you handle the rest.
And I mentioned this use case because acquiring a company and cold calling them is obviously harder to do than selling a SaaS service or selling a health product. The prospecting and the training part you mentioned, how does that actually work? Does your agent ask us questions and then we answer them? Do we create some kind of dossier to then you then ingest into our specific agent?
Yes. So basically, the agent is not yet asking you question to validate what he understood. So you still need to navigate a little bit through the interface that we built for you to actually validate what the AI generated. So the way how we will tackle this problem, and I think what you mentioned also, there is a big component of the timing in what you're providing. Like if it's not the right timing, people will just not do it, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so this is going to be a little bit the tricky part, I would say, because identifying the right trigger might be the challenging if we mono channel on LinkedIn. Now, the way how we will ask you to do that will be to um, just go through the different things that the AI have done for you. The lead that it gathered, we give you access to the list, we give you access to the entire knowledge base. So it just like read online documents, everything that we can find about you online. We do the same for every single prospect,
Understood. Understood. Okay. Okay.
and we make it match.
Okay, so just one more question on this use case, and I may have one more for you. So let's say we gave you 2,000 and we've got emails and phone numbers. And then we say, hey, Julian, we want to send to 10,000, right? So then I would imagine your salesman would help us prospect within LinkedIn. But let's say the 2,000, some of them are not on LinkedIn, some are, but you're starting with 2,000 from a database and 8,000 that you prospect. So that's 10,000. Um, do you reach out to the prospects on LinkedIn, or do you also go outside of LinkedIn? Let's say email, SMS.
That's a very good question. Uh, we currently only do LinkedIn, and that actually one of the reasons why we're trying to raise, why we're raising basically is that to open more channel. Where we
Gotcha.
see the most significant traction is in the calling. Like the email is really crowded now, so it doesn't really matter how good the email is. People end up with thousands of email per day, while calling will be having a significant impact if you can have that at scale, and people are asking for that
So more voice. Okay, gotcha.
voice.
Out of 2,000, let's say 1,000, you've sort of matched LinkedIn, and then we purchase another 9,000 from you. There's 9,000. Then you would ask for more information. We would train it, and then you would then contact them over LinkedIn. When is the handover to us? Like, because if you send initial messages and intros to 9,000, maybe 1,000 is interested to learn more, right? Does your service stop and saying, now I'm gonna bring in my client so that maybe we have a conversation, or it brings this email, that, or does it all happen within LinkedIn? Like, how far can it go?
Yes. Currently, where all the automation stops when someone reply, then the AI
I
take
see. I
over
see.
and draft for you the next message for you to reply. So we make it very easy for you to go through the conversation and make the lead move forward in the funnel. So we drop the reply and we ask you to validate the AI replies before it's being sent. It's early July, we're going to release the entire autopilot that is actually conversing within minutes and replying within minutes to every single prospect.
Okay, and all within LinkedIn, right? Okay.
Always in
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
So again, in this case, and again, I picked a more complex situation. We would train SalesMind's AI to say, "Hey, we're looking to buy PMCs. Are you interested?" Most will say no, but they're interested. Yes. Then within the LinkedIn messaging, you would reply. But at some point, we need to take this off LinkedIn, right? Do a call. So
Mhm.
Salesman would stop once we get that to that stage. Is that correct?
At that moment,
You
yes.
hand it off. Yeah, okay, okay. But maybe you could explain to the audience how you guys charge what we pay as a client.
Yeah, sure. So the business model is very straightforward. We have a monthly subscription fee, and that ensures you have access to the entire application, which is one fee per LinkedIn account that we supercharge, and we have planned for unlimited LinkedIn account for agencies that are really large, basically.
Okay,
So
okay.
very straightforward.
And I recall it's one fee monthly, and there's a LinkedIn limit to the number of prospects, but not a salesman limit. And what was the limit per month for LinkedIn?
Sure. So the only hard cap that LinkedIn is giving is actually 200 connection requests per week. Now it doesn't really matter how many messages you send per day. We have users that send up to 150 messages per day. But the really important thing is the delta, how many messages and activity you done yesterday and how many you done today. And that's what make raise flag from LinkedIn.
So, how many unique contacts can we do per day or per week or per month?
It's around 190 per day.
What's the fee again?
Yeah, we start at $89 per month for a year commitment.
Gotcha, gotcha. So 89 a month, and I think you're getting a 42% reply rate on your existing clients.
Yes, correct. Over the 3 million messages that we send, that what we observed, yes.
Okay. Just to clarify, is it reply including don't spam me, or is it more reply saying, yes, I want to talk to you?
No, it's it's the entire reply pool that we are getting. Now, what really important and to monitor, and I think that was one of the differentiator of SalesMind is we identify the opportunity. So people who are interested, people who are warm, people who are on open deal, and we identify that. Now, what we see is realistically between 25 and 35% of interest rate, which is a much better metric to track.
Mm-hmm. Your typical client typically buys monthly or 6 months, a year, and what's the renewal rate? Just so we get a sense of the satisfaction level.
Sure. So I think most of the users are 6 and 12 months package. It doesn't really make sense for a business that have actually a sales cycle of 6 to 8 months to test a lead generation tool and say, okay, it doesn't work after 1 month. So people are usually committed for longer term because they know that it takes time for them to close the deal. Now, I think the retention rate we must be around 50 to 60% since we started. We had from the entire user base.
That's fantastic. Those are good numbers.
It
Yeah.
sounds to me actually, yes, I would like to increase that to 100, but I know
Yeah.
I cannot
Yeah.
serve anyone yet.